is like that just sheer moan of agony. Like when someone is just like at the absolute bottom and they just can't do anything but make just like that guttural, raw groan. Like, oh. I've heard that before. I heard that with a guy that says, I was in a similar situation. I was in a really bad motorcycle accident and I was in the ICU, and this guy had to go into surgery and he had to get his leg removed, both his legs removed. And then I was just kind of like looking over there, and then all of a sudden you hear it. You just hear that. First he's like hollering, right? Because apparently he can like still feel his legs. Like it's like some kind of phantom pain, but you still feel the limb even though it's not there. But he like takes the sheets off and he sees where they like bandaged up to like his knee basically. And he just lets out this, heartbreaking. Couldn't be a doctor. Couldn't do it. Couldn't be a doctor or a nurse. I don't see how they have the stomach for it.
Yeah, I'm drinking water, but cheers. It's my 14th day sober. What I was gonna say, and I guess it wouldn't count because I was gonna say not hearing that one of my childhood friends had died, but if it were just not hearing it, it wouldn't change it. If it was just not hearing it. But like I said, it's a really good question because it would have to be something very strong.
Probably getting the phone call from my now ex girlfriend that they cheated. Yeah, no, after 6 months, and everyone at the time was like, yeah, they're totally toxic, be careful. And I'm like, no, it's totally fine. Yeah, no, it wasn't fine. She really was, looking back on it now. This was maybe a year ago. But looking back, it's like, wow, she really was kind of awful. She really was. She'd just like completely drop off the map for like a week or two. And I mean, like, yeah, she was totally good, but it's like at the same time, we were still in school. It just seemed like a lot of her priorities were not where they should have been, going out to parties, stuff like that. It was just weird. Leave the house in the middle of the night, just stuff. Yeah, I guess it's like my fault, but hey, being blinded by love, what can I say? I mean, I consider her like a total heartthrob, and I'm not saying I look bad either, but like, wow, she was really attractive. I was like, hey, lucky me. But yeah, just didn't work out well. She called me after like a week of me not hearing her, and she was like, hey, I cheated on you. And I'm like, oh, that's awful. It was weird though, because all of her friends were like, we are so sorry. I guess I've always been kind of distrustful, and even in the relationship, I was kind of like, hey, no, I'm not really comfortable with you doing this stuff. But like after that, it's kind of made it just spiral even worse. And I get along with people just fine, but now it's like to the point where I just automatically don't trust people. I mean, even now, I haven't gotten into another relationship. Even now, it's just kind of made things worse, from being a distrustful person to being like even more. And like, I just get a little bit worried about how it's going to affect me in the future, like as time goes on, because I still got a long way to go, fingers crossed. And I don't want to be automatically distrustful for like the rest of my life, but as it stands, I just don't really know how to necessarily deal with that issue and then become more trusting.
One thing I wish I never heard, honestly, no such thing. I think all information is good information. All knowledge is good, without any exceptions, even if it's negative. The more you know, the more you understand, the better. And oftentimes what we think is bad is only bad because of our own preconceived notions, and not because the thing in and of itself is actually bad. Again, kind of a non-answer, but I wouldn't say anything at all to the world, because I think the world is just fine as it is. Not in the sense that bad things don't happen, but I think the world is just the way it needs to be from a cosmic perspective. I mean, I don't know, man, I'm just talking shit.
Only a small percentage of people who watch my videos are actually subscribed. So if you end up liking this video, consider subscribing.
Dude, like, I work at a gas station and like the main revenue comes from like cigarettes, dude. That shit is horrible. Coffee is the same shit. Like, without coffee and cigarettes, the countries probably would lose like half their income. In a small village, dude, there's like nothing happening at all. Like, that shit is the only shit that's allowed, and it's fucking addictive. They buy like the full package with like 10 packs or whatever for like $150. They would just like pay it like it's nothing. Yeah, like it's necessary for them, dude. Some people just wait there and they're like kind of struggling, And like the last time I've seen someone struggle like that, there was like a biker or something in the heat, just bought a bottle of water, dude. That's the same like kind of like desperateness that the people that buy like cigarettes have.
That's a lot to think about. Like, I'm just kind of like, everything that I've heard and or like has interacted with at some point has always like, I don't know. I am the accumulation of my experiences. So what experience would I not want to be part of me? I'm a bit passive with my life, a lot more passive than I would like to be. And so I wouldn't really change all that much. There are certainly things that I would wish would change, except they would change so many other things, and I'm happy with the results that those other things have created, regardless of whether or not the experience was bad. Or learn something you didn't want to learn. Okay, so going back to the original question, I don't know, I think it'd probably be something inconsequential that was just kind of like, I didn't need to know that.
This is completely off topic, but I do think that it's a problem in our current society of getting engrossed in these distractions, you know, like VR, becoming too attached to these things and ruin your life in a way. I think that's the main problem that we have in our modern society, is the technology's come so far that it's now sort of taking away from the things that we used to enjoy and like going out and socializing more. So it'd be nice if people were more aware of this instead of just scrolling through TikTok all day or watching YouTube for 10 hours, because we're all guilty of it. But I think it'll be good if people were more aware of it, because a lot of the time speaking about those sort of things just makes you look crazy. I think VR is good and bad. It can fill a gap, you know, for your social needs. I think it will be the future, but I don't think that's necessarily a good thing, because it's so easy for this shit to just take over your life.
You know, I could hear the most horrible things from random people, and it wouldn't really impact me that much. But when it's people I feel I've opened up to, or that I feel that I can trust in some way, when they say something hurtful, or just something you don't want to hear, it stings so much more, and it stays with you for years. At least that's how it is for me. Like, if my mom didn't say a few things that she said, I feel like I'd be a little bit more confident in myself, or I'd feel like I would be worth more, I guess, if that makes any sense. I'm trying to think of which ones exactly, which lines. I guess a lot of them were like, you're not gonna make it far, you're not like worth anything. So many like accusing things, stuff like that.
I think what makes it, oh sorry.
No, it's okay, go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, because I've like been with her like through a lot of like this, and like something I notice is you like her mom will say stuff like that to her, and then she'll like seem like she's really genuine about like being sorry and like wanting to make it up to you, and then way later like she'll just do it again. At the end of the day, like that's your family, you know, that's like someone you care about.
You know, like I still want us to have a good relationship, but it just keeps getting torn down by.
Yeah, and there's only so many times you could like let that happen before you just like have to force yourself to just not believe them anymore, that they want to be better, and it just kind of ruins the relationship like forever.
Anytime something important that I feel would happen to me, like someone wants to pay me to make them art. Holy shit, my guy. That is amazing. I'm so glad that someone out there found my art and is like, yeah, that, I want it. And like, whenever I would tell my mom, like, hey, guess what? Like, I just made like $50, like making someone a character. Like, how fun is that? Like, I feel like there's something here, you know, I could like, do something about this. And then she would shut it down completely, or say, oh, well, that's not gonna last you, or oh, that's not gonna get you very far, or just kills my drive for wanting to better myself, wanting to find that outing, you know. And yeah, like, you know how I told you earlier, I just got my license today, I just passed my driver's test today. That is all thanks to like me leaving my mom's house. And like, I got a job, and like, it's like how well I've been doing for myself as soon as I cut her out of the picture.
Your mom was like so focused on trying to like crush your dreams of like pursuing art as a career. Like, she was so focused on doing that she didn't even think to try and help you get a normal job or like get a license or anything. And so now that you're out of there, it's like you have people that are like like supporting you and like trying to like, get those
Being
things.
surrounded
Yeah.
by people who support you and give you that sense of belonging, like that's kind of what VRChat does too, because I'm surrounded by people who either have gone through similar things as me, or like I could get to know Mr. Tago Mago over here, and it's nice that I can do that. I couldn't do that in real life, at least not when I used to live with my mom. Now I'm in a place where I feel freedom, and I can, if I wanted to do that, I could, but I feel definitely much more socially open in VRChat, because it's like I don't really feel judged, because this is kind of a judgment-free zone.
I don't understand. Like, I see all these videos and I kind of get jealous because you always see these videos of people like getting in head-on collisions with motorcycles from the point of view of the motorcyclist or the biker, and they flip over and they land and then they stand up and they're like, "What's the matter with you?" And I'm like, how did your body not collapse? Because my motorcycle accident was really bad. I was down in Peru actually, and I was just doing some biking down there because I'd commuted to and from work for a really long time on my bike. I started thinking, well, let me go do one of those like motorcycle adventures you always advertised. They're cruising quick. I'm in the back of the pack. I fall pretty behind, but at least there's a support truck following us with like all our luggage and stuff. I don't really know what happened because it's all black. The only thing I remember is looking up at the sky, and the guy that was in the support truck has scissors, like these giant scissors, and he's cutting off all my armor because I just got into the wreck, and then I'm out. And what they tell me is that the guy had to tourniquet my leg, and we were out like in the mountains. So he drives down from the mountains for like 4 hours into the biggest city nearby, which was Arequipa. Yeah, they finally get me to the hospital 4 hours later. They're surprised I'm still alive because my heart rate's already increased. My organs are shutting down. I've lost, however many pints of blood. But at first they were like worried they wouldn't get me alive, but they got me alive. And once they got me alive, there was a great doctor down there that just like constantly was cleaning my leg wound to make sure like he could save the leg, which they eventually did, which I'm very grateful for. But yeah, it took a month and a half in the ICU just because I had so much going on. And then it was like another month after that in just the normal hospital room where they just had to monitor my condition while I was stable. You know what the worst thing was? It was the stress of the bills. Like, I'm American, right? And I did not have insurance at the time. And so they started dropping these like 11 grand, 15 grand, 13 grand bills, like boom, 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 boom. Then the big one hit, which was literally $250,000. And I was like, how am I ever going to pay this? Luckily, I called these people up and I was talking with them, talking. Advice for anyone who ever gets in that kind of situation. Ask, number one, about if there's any charitable organizations willing to front some of the bill. And number two, make sure that you ask for the self-pay option. Because I didn't even know this was a thing. Apparently, any place with a medical bill, I'm not going to tell you this, but if you tell them I'm self-paying, is there like a self-pay discount? Almost all of them will take something off. Some 10%, some 40%, but that's how I knock down a lot of the expense for myself.
Because she was saying, I feel like what hurts the most is like when someone that you like care about and trust says something to you that sticks with you forever. And I guess the only person that's ever really like had that effect on me was like my ex, and I guess that's like a whole thing.
What was like the meanest thing your ex has said?
I don't know. Well, see, it's weird because like looking back now, like I wouldn't care if I never heard it, just because I've just distanced myself from that past relationship so much that I just don't care about it anymore. It's a thing that happened. But I guess in the moment when I was in that relationship, and she would say things like, you should be more like him. Like that kind of stuff is like so painful.
Yeah, comparing.
But,
yeah, I hate when there's comparisons.
My ex was like very much into like I guess you could say quote unquote traditional relationship values. So she believed that the male should be like the strong one taking care of the female. Like it's weird because it didn't start off that way, right? Like when I met her, she was really open, and she seemed like obviously someone that I would want a relationship with. But over time, I think she I don't know, like people change. She just got more into those traditional values, and like she started getting like I've met and I know Christians that are really nice and really great, but she started getting really into religion, and it like kind of like made her very judgmental and, you know, all this stuff, and it just kind of spiraled. So, you know, like she'd see a guy that like wore suits and, you know, like all this like masculine value stuff, like, oh, I'm gonna protect you, and like all that kind of stuff. And, you know, I'm like kind of timid and shy and like a little feminine sometimes, and so she was like you should be more like that guy. And when I was in the relationship, you know, because at that point I'd been with her for like 3 years, you know, and like when you're with somebody that long, like if she says something to you like that, like it hurts, but it's, you don't think like, oh, I should break up with this person. It's like you're thinking like, well, I want to make her happy because I love her, so, you know, maybe she's right. And that's why relationships can be so like bad sometimes, and that's why it's really important to know if you have people around you telling you, I don't think this relationship is good for you, you need to listen to them. Because I had that happen so many times with my ex, like people telling me like, I don't know, she's like, seems like she's trying to control you, stuff like that, and like I just wouldn't listen because I was so blinded by love. And, you know, I did genuinely care about her, but so I just didn't see it at the time, but it just kind of slowly built up over time, and it just like, I had a breaking point and I couldn't take it anymore.
I come to here just to play and have fun and hang out with my friend, and then when people get too serious, I'm like, no. So it gets awkward. Like, more than friends, you know? They want to take that next step, and I'm like, no, I don't want to, you know? Not my cup of tea. I like anime guys. That's good for me. Sung-Lee! Oh my gosh, he's my husband. I love him. I have his avatar. I'll show you. Isn't he cute?
The first thing that comes in my mind is really personal. Like, you know, yes, I know. There is one movie of Ratchet and Clanks, and in France, because I'm French, the dude who's done the Ratchet voice is a popular YouTuber, and I hate his voice from the start to the finish of the movie. I had to listen it in other language because I cannot hear his voice again. It frustrates me. Ugh.
One thing that's always been interesting to me is like, at least for me, like I feel like when I'm talking to someone in real life, even if they're a stranger and I just met them, I always like feel like I care about what they think of me, because even if I know like logically that we're probably never gonna see each other again, I have a feeling like, what if I do see this person again? Like, what if, you know, but if for some reason in VR chat, like with all these people around, like I feel so much more confident in like, oh yeah, I'm sure you're a great person, Mr. Tagomago, but I'm probably never gonna see you again, you know? So I could just say whatever I want, and you know, it won't really matter. But in real life, I just don't feel that way. And when I'm talking to a real like person in front of me, it's like, I feel like it's a lot more stressful because I don't know, like I feel like I can't easily just like walk away from that person forever, you know? Yeah. Maybe it's just because like I'm talking to like a pot, like a hole in a pot right now, and I can't see your expressions and how you're reacting to what I'm saying, right? So it's just like,
What I'd share with the world would be prioritize yourself, and rather than focusing so much on other people and trying to make them happy and having fun with other people, think of how you can better yourself. If you're in a bad situation, think of how you can get out of it. Think about the people that put you in that situation, or rather the people that kind of drew you into that situation. But the big thing is prioritize yourself and take care of yourself overall. Oh my god, I was just watching you. I'm actually subscribed. Yeah, Humans of VR, and I was thinking, it's like, hey, wouldn't it be totally crazy if I got interviewed by Humans of VR? Oh, you're very welcome. Wow, that'll be a thought, seeing myself in a Humans of VR video. Wow, thanks, man. Totally, thank you.
Kindness is contagious. When you are kind, you inspire others. Be the spark. Spreading kindness merchandise available now.